Bonjour and welcome back. My name is Austin, and when I was younger, I wasn't, I mean, even, I don't know why I said when I was younger. Siblings, we don't really, I don't know why I'm chewing on this pen. I think I found it on the floor like 6 months ago. We don't get along, that's just what siblings do. So I have two brothers. They're both older than me, one by 2 years and the other by three. So we've never done a whole lot together, right? Other than like when we were really young and we like played together. But on the rare occasion, I got to watch something with them. So with my older brother Josh, I got to watch freaking Lost. But with my other brother, Logan, once again, we didn't really do much together, but there's specifically a couple month period of time where I have memories of us watching TV together. And there's only two shows I remember very distinctly and purposefully watching with him, which is the next step. A dance show, Canadian dance show, love it, and Escape from Scorpion Island. Now, Escape, so once these shows have always stuck with me because, once again, the rare occasion I got to do something with my brother, or brothers, I guess. Anyways, like, after watching the show, it wasn't, I mean, I loved it, but I watched like 4 episodes, so I didn't know much about it, and my brother put it on, so I didn't know what it was called. Wow, it stuck with me. I could never find it, and I didn't know what it was called, so I was like, oh well. Survivor 41 happens, and for anyone who doesn't know, which is probably most people, Jonathan from that season was on Endurance, which was the kids' version of Survivor, basically. And when people said that, they didn't mention, I mean, I didn't know the name of the show, so I was like, oh my god, guys, this is it. It wasn't. Shocker. Spoiler alert. It's not the show. But it reinvigorated my want for the show and it made me search for it. So after a while searching, I found a clip of it on YouTube and I was like, and this is like the fifth time finding something being like, this is it. I was like, this is it. I searched it up and I was correct. This was it. And I mean, I could have watched it on YouTube. I didn't care that much. Fast forward to now, where I was like, no one's really talked about the show. So I was like, this was my childhood. It wasn't, once again, incredibly small part of my childhood, but nonetheless, it was my childhood. So I'm going to talk about it because I can. So after sailing the high seas, couldn't find it anywhere. Someone was like, oh, it's on Amazon Prime. I was like, oh. So here's my little rundown. I have, oh, this is the wrong part of notes. Here we go. You can see some of my old notes from my other videos. So, Escape from Scorpion Island has 5 seasons. I was about to name them, but it's just season 1 through 5, and 3 sets of hosts. Season 1 was, oh girl, that's not, I wrote them down. Karen Flack and Reggie Yates. Seasons 2 and 3 were JK and Joel, and then 4 and 5 was Mylene Class and Johnny Pitts. Season 1 was recorded in Brazil, featuring all British kids, and was produced by RDF Television. Thank you. But seasons 2 to 5 became like they were picked up by a different producer, which was Foundation and Freehand. And so, because it was picked up by Australian producers, they recorded and included Australian contestants. So, yeah. So, seasons 2 and 3 took place on some island, and 4 and 5 took place on a different island. But, both Australian. It was great. So, interestingly enough, season 1 is almost entirely lost. I couldn't find it anywhere. I can find like 6 episodes on YouTube. Episodes 1 to 5 plus episode 8. So unfortunately, I can't. I mean, and if you find it, let me know. I'd love to watch it. I'd love to find it. I wanted to. What better way to like talk about the show than the first season? Watch it. So there's 2 edits of the show. Well, I mean, it's confusing to me, but basically, the British version is 30 minutes. The Australian is an hour. Like, I don't really get it. That's it. So the Australian version of the edit takes place in days. So seasons 2 and 3, there's 15 days and 15 episodes. But for the British version, it's 2 episodes per day. So there's 30 episodes for season 2 instead of 15. Unfortunately, that's the only one I can watch. I can't watch the Australian one. I know it's better because the episodes from the British version are so repetitive. They literally run down. Because seasons 2 and 3, I couldn't make it through them. I'll get to that. They will explain a challenge to you 5 times over the course of 3 different episodes. I am being so serious. Because there's one challenge and it plays out twice. So they explain it, and then they explain it again, and then they explain it again, and then they go on to the next version of the challenge, which is slightly changed. So they explain it with the slight change, and then in the next episode, they're like, "This is what happened last episode," and they explain the fucking. It was so bad. Seasons 4 and I assume 5, I didn't watch it, fixed this, but it was still so. As I mentioned, Amazon Prime, and we'll get into this. Amazon Prime has seasons 2 to 5. So I watched half of season 2, a quarter of season 3, and all of season 4. Along with, in my childhood, watching the tail end of season 5. That is it. Interestingly enough, I can't give you a good rundown on how the show works because it changes every season. The same plot, the same concept is there. You throw a bunch of kids on an island, they do a bunch of stuff, and then in the last moments they have to escape. The first team to escape escapes, and the last team stays on the island forever. Obviously that didn't happen, but when I was a child, I believed that. So, and I still wanted to go on that show. What the fuck was wrong with me? But, so season 1, once again, I can't talk too much about it, but season 1, I don't know, 2 teams of 5. Allegedly, there were some contestants kicked off before the show started. I saw that on Wikipedia. Keep in mind that all the information I got about this was from Wikipedia and one random website called UK game shows. I don't know where I got the BB from. So it's not, I can't guarantee that my information is super right, but. So season 1 was, whatever, a bunch of kids, 5 teams, and then the first bit they're competing on the beach for something. The middle bit, they're competing for advantages, and then the third bit is them competing for advantages in the final challenge. That's what I got, but yeah, so it's like, oh, okay. And then season 2 is the most complicated. Season 2 follows 2 teams of 3. Also, the teams are always called Sting and Claw. Anyways, so 2 teams of 3, and then there's 10 kids that are stuck in limbo. Basically, they do a challenge where they pick a bunch of random kids from limbo. They do the challenge, and they're split into teams. Whoever wins then gets chosen by the team captain on both teams. So one of them chooses, then the next team chooses, and then they do that challenge, but slightly altered, and then whoever wins gains that person. So by the end of the season, one team has 10 players and the other has 6. There's also another thing. There's the limbo challenge where the kids have to do something to, like, they have to do a challenge, all the kids in limbo, to stop something from happening, losing all their personal items or electricity, but they're on an island. I don't think I'm gonna get to that, but like, what? I was I was so confused. Season 3, once again, I can't speak much to because I didn't get very far in it. But basically, there's 3 teams, 5, 5, 6. Someone won an extra person on the first challenge, and they're competing for torches. These torches will give them advantage in the final challenge, as well as some random thing that gives them a luxury. It's not important. It took them like 6 episodes for it to show up at all, so doesn't matter. Season 4 is what 2 teams of 5, and they're competing for sandbags, which gives them a head start in the final challenge. Also competing for totem pieces in a separate challenge, which would also help them mysteriously in the final challenge. It turns out those were much more helpful than the sandbags, but okay, even though they shouldn't have been. Like, I'm glad Claw won, that I was rooting for them, but like, the totem should not have been that important compared to the sands, at least, which was like the main challenges. And then season 5, I don't fucking know. They're split into boys and girls, and then they're not. It's back to Team and Claw, or Sting and Claw, and then they compete for trophies, which help them at the end, as well as totem challenges, but they don't. I don't. I'm lost. Who watched it? Not fucking me. There's also the Island Fire, which takes place at the end of every day, or 2 episodes, in which the the winner, the hosts go over the general day. They ask people, "How was your team captain?" And then they choose a new team captain. Well, not really in season 3. In season 3, they vote on their captain. In season 2, the island just chooses. It's not really clear. The hosts are like, "Why do you think the island chose you?" And they're like, "I don't fucking know, man. I just so they just choose whoever randomly as the captain, and then after that, they reveal what the name of the challenge is, and they're like, "Theories? What do you think the next challenge is?" And kids are like, "I don't fucking know." And then yeah, in season 3, they don't they do the I don't think they do the fire, where they reveal who'll be competing from each team in the next challenge, and they have the torches, and they reveal the name, but they don't do team captains because it's voted on. And then season 4, we'll get to that because it's season 4 and 5 have a different team captain system. That's a bit. It's not that complicated, but I'll explain it there. That's 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 my preamble. I think I'll start talking about the seasons, and then I'll do general thoughts and extra bits at the end. Season 2, as I explained, saw the teams fighting for extra players because the final challenge would be more advantageous. to it was like essentially like a strength. It required lots of strength, and you could because I didn't watch it. Spoil shocker. It's almost as if I mentioned this. I didn't watch it, but from what I know, they have to climb up this rock, the waterfall or something, which it seems to be common in all of the finales. And then they had to build a raft, and then they had to sail it. There was lots of like, there's a bit of the sentiment that like men are stronger, and the hosts especially try to egg it on. It's really strange for them to do that, and then they do season 5. Funnily enough, the seasons, like most seasons, the team with more women win anyways in the end. But basically, at the end, they have to row their boat, and theoretically, you'd think a team with 10 players would beat the team with 6 players, in which one of them is injured, essentially having 5 players. And yet, they didn't. Apparently, they just couldn't communicate properly, so they weren't rowing effectively, which led the 6-person team to win, which was great because I mean, from what I saw, I was rooting for the Team Claw, the 6-person team, which was Tara, yeah, Jake, Alex, T, and Livy joined at the end, and I loved them. And I think Amy and Lizzie were kidnapped or whatever. Sounds a lot weird without context. I have a lot of notes here. I don't know what I want to jump to. First, I guess I'll talk about the hosts. They didn't do it for me. They just weren't eating. They just, I don't know how to explain it, but compared to season 4 with Mylene and Johnny, they weren't giving me life. They weren't giving me energy. They weren't bringing anything interesting. I couldn't tell them apart. And just in general, they didn't mesh well with the kids. They felt like very awkward presence in them, and they were very much trying to push ideas. For example, in the first episode, they skydived out of the plane, which was wild, but okay. And they do this in season 4, and I assume season 5 as well. It's true. Like, really? That's their introduction? Okay. Anyways, they skydive out of the plane, and then once they get to the ground, the hosts are having an awkward conversation with them in which they're like, is anyone scared? Is anyone scared? And it's silence. Everyone's like, no. And they're like,
Awesome. Now, we want to talk about somebody who maybe didn't want to do it. Is there anybody who maybe didn't want to do the jump?
Anyone that didn't want to do the jump. Come on, we're all friends here on
we
Scorpion
haven't done
Island.
it. We haven't done the jump.
it's just so uncomfortable until finally Alex was like, I was scared before. Thank him for ending that because I was so uncomfortable watching that. And then they did this again to Jake, in which, oh god, I have no idea where to. Oh. Basically, there's a challenge where like the 3 girls are competing, 3 girls from Team Claw, versus I think it's like 1 girl and 2 guys from Team Sting, and the girls lose, and then the hosts are like, because Jake was the team captain, and so they were like, Jake, how does this make you feel? Do you think you could have done any better as a man? And he's like, no, I, I couldn't have done any better. And I'm like, hey, and this was coming from the guy who kept saying they needed more men on the team. I loved him. Like, it was kind of great. The kids clearly, one thing I noticed going immediately into season 3 when I stopped, it says episode 12 was my last one on here. When I stopped, basically, um, there's one person who at all acted like they were on an island that was like trying to keep them, which was Anna. She was the only one who showed to like be scared and, you know, interact at all with the scorpion theming. No one else did at all. I don't, like, you would think they would have, like, hey guys, act a little, I don't know, say let's take on this island. Because in season 3, there's a bunch of confessionals at the start where they're like, I'm here, and one thing I have to say to the island is be scared of me. And it's like, okay, we're actually looking at the island like it should be looked at, or at least how it was intended to be. But in season 2, it doesn't feel like they're on Scorpion Island. It just feels like they're on an island. Not the fault of the hosts, but I mean, even then, they weren't like, ooh, Scorpion Island is trying to punish these kids. But like in season 4, they do that a lot. They're like, little do they know the island has more in store. But in season 2, where is that? And the challenges weren't really, I don't know, scorpion themed or anything like that. Whereas, like, I mean, for the other ones, not really. But at least they had better ideas behind them. One thing that they did a lot was say things that, like, we don't know. For example, I didn't write the episode. Oh, this was before I was writing episodes. But someone says Isla is a good swimmer. But they don't know this. Up to this point, they had never seen her swim. So it's like, how do you know this? Of course, I was pretty confident, and then it was later confirmed that they didn't sleep on the island, even though the show kept trying to push that, especially in the second season. I don't know about the first. In the second season, they were really pushing this idea that they slept on the island, or this whatever in the little cubby things. But by season 3, they dropped it. But I didn't believe that, and then it's like, and then I watched. Again, I'll talk about it later. But the guy said that he didn't really sleep on the island when he was on the show, and it's like, how do you know I was a good swimmer, right? Like, me doing hold on, I'm looking for more. And I don't know if I wrote this anywhere else or another con's idea of that, but yeah, it really the show was just not it. It was so all over the place. So by episode 12, I had read the wiki, which included what team everyone ended on and who won what challenges. I knew all of it, so I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like, it wasn't good. It wasn't very good of a season. It was pretty boring, all things considered. But like, it had its moments. I thought some of the players were really interesting. Sammy and Tara really stuck out to me. Olivia was fun. Livy, Lizzie. I'm just gonna name all the women actually, except for Amy and Isla. They never stuck out to me. They look the exact same. So, anyways, I spoiled it for myself. So I was just like, I have no interest, and I spoiled it. I'm not gonna continue. So I was like, instead, I'll watch season 3 and season 4. Going into season 3, I had low expectations, but let's be let's be optimistic, right? Shouldn't have been. Uh, the intro was like I was pulled in by the intro. The part where it's like, this is what's gonna happen. It was giving drama. There was fighting. There was crying. I quickly realized that I didn't like the drama. It makes me feel bad watching these children aged 11 to 14 fight. especially especially like when one of them said, it's not
It's not
our
our
fault
fault
you
we've
got
got
short-term
short-term
memory
memory loss or
loss.
something.
That was in like the 4th episode. Like, that was so instant. It happened so quickly. And then right after that, one of the kids is like, I don't think I can forgive them. I think this team is done forever. And then immediately after, it's like, let's all hug it out. And I just didn't believe it. And it made me feel really sad. And the kid, I think his name was Tyson. He looked a lot like my neighbor who was named Tyson. And he like pushed someone in the first challenge. He was like trying to push them off. And that clip kept getting shown. They're like, because of course they review what's happened so far in the season, even when it's episode 10. And they always show that clip like first. He's never escaping that. But it was just there wasn't that much fighting. There was on the one team, which it was Claw because I wrote the words Claw as a mess. So I assume that one was Claw. But it was just really sad. And I really like the Claw because in season 5 I cheered for them. Season 2 I was rooting for them. In season 4 I was rooting for them. I wanted to root for them here, but oof, the team was not fun to watch. Amongst that, the kids also didn't stick out. None of them were like, oh, I like them. Like, I liked Assad, you know? No one else was like, oh, hi. I was just like, you all look the same and talk the same. I'm gonna, I'm just gonna put a little clip here.
He's been kidnapped by the island.
What? I was laughing my ass off in this blade. So fucking funny. Cause why? Why did they edit it like that? They did him so dirty, and it was so funny. They could just show him like disappearing, but no, they had to freaking do all. They had to put the whole energy into that. Like what? So funny. I have one page. Basically, the fighting. I was like, okay, I'm interested, but then it happened, and I was like, actually, I'm not. I don't like this. There was also an episode missing, which was really frustrating. It was because episode 8 was just repeated twice, so episode 7 was missing, and I didn't care for any of the kids. I didn't care who won. I was I wasn't into it. I had some nice things to say. Shout out to you, Ricky. He was impressive. Oh, I know what challenge that was. I wrote like this is how you edit challenge because it was good editing, but like nothing else was really good. I just wanted to know why that one girl was crying at the fire. Like I'm invested in her, but everyone else just didn't care. But but at least season 4 delivered. So season 4 and 5, as I mentioned, has a different team captain. I'm gonna just put that out. It's a different team captain system where basically all the kids come onto the island and then they start doing challenges to award them a power. So the first power is bravery. So all the kids like skydived except for one. I just want to talk about this real quick. Why didn't Brandon skydive? He didn't skydive. He wasn't there for the first fire, and then everything after that, he was fine. He didn't dominate. He was actually probably one of the worst. But I loved him, and that's all that matters. But he took a helicopter and then didn't show up to the final fire. I was so confused. My guess was that he just had asthma, and maybe people with asthma can't skydive. But then we never really saw that go anywhere, and I feel like there's a lot of running. Oh no. I was very confused by that, but I don't have an explanation. It was never given. So anyways, so the power captains, everyone who skydived pulled rocks out of a bag, and 2 of them got bravery. Because everyone showed bravery. And then they did a challenge for speed. So the people who won bravery was Abby and not Rachel. Rachel won stamina. Who won bravery? For it's because it's Team Sting. I don't want much about Team Sting, but it was a woman. I don't know, it was a woman. And then speed was won by Shia and Bronte. Shia was my fave, and then she got swapped and then had no content. Okay. And then it was for Balance, which Brandon and not Angus, but Janardon won. No, it was Strength for Harriet and not Matthew, not Martin, Michael. And then it was Balance, which was won by Brandon and not and Janardon. And then it was Stamina, which was Rachel and Angus. They won it because they did all the challenges. I would have felt like shit if I got Stamina personally. I lost everything, and then it's like, you tried your best, so you get Stamina. Kill me. But like seriously, I'd feel so bad. But they took it on. You know, they ate. They ate, and then of course I literally could not tell you a single thing Angus did that season. He's probably the most forgettable of the season. It doesn't help that Sting was just like Janardon. Who was on that team other than Janardon? Like, let's be real here. And we'll get to that. But basically, every every day it was a power captain duo. So first it was stamina, and then wasn't speed next, but it was strength next, and then whatever. So those it was balance next, whatever. So those two O's would become the power captain. Of course, they were on separate teams. So the two speed captains would be the two speed power holders would be captain for the day, and then the challenges would be based around speed, for example. And then halfway through the season, the speed power captains got switched. So Shia, who was on Claw, went to Sting, and Bronte from Sting went to Claw. Yeah, okay. There, there was a moment I wrote this. It doesn't matter though. Michael, for some reason, was like predicted it. Let's be real here. The producers tipped them off. There's no way the exact day that happens, they were like, the island has something in store, guys. I think there's gonna be a team switch. Mind you, mind you, we have to consider the fact that that was the like they'd gone through all 5 captains at that point, and every season previous, to some degree, had team switches. I know season 2 had it. I think season 3 probably had it, and probably season 1 did too. I don't know if they did, but they probably had them. So you know. But still, I'm like, he was probably tipped off. I doubt he was like, guys, and then like told the other team moving because they were like, I'm sure someone tipped them off or something. I thought it was so fun. I really liked this season. Oh right, the graphics. So at the beginning of each episode, there's a don't do this at home, and then the intro of like 10 kids or whatever. Those didn't work. There was one episode. Um, there's one episode where the graphics actually fucking worked, which was episode 7. Every other episode on Amazon Prime, they didn't work. Like, and I didn't know until episode 7, or not even episode 7, until episode 8, where I found out that the fire was that the challenge name and the power captains, it was coming up from the fire in words, but I couldn't see that. So I thought they were just randomly switching to the fire. I was an idiot. So I thought that's just really funny. I thought this season, I mean, first off, it played a lot more into the island theming. Secondly, I liked that the middle challenge had an actual effect on the game, because the previous seasons had 3 challenges per day, but those challenges didn't really have a general impact on the season. Like, oh, you win chocolates in season 3, or in season 2, you don't lose electricity. But in season 4, you won totem pieces, which were revealed to be stepping stones to help you get farther up the mountain. So because one team had 7, the steps. I mean, it was really just 3 steps. Whereas the other team had 3, so they only had 2, because 1, 2, 3, and it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that was way more helpful than the sands, which pissed me off, even though I hated Sting. Let's talk about that. Why was Janardon such an I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I hated him. And then like he'd say something nice or he'd do something nice. And I'd be like, oh, but then he'd be an asshole again. And I'm like, guys. See, like Sting was just and then they tried to for some reason it wasn't even just Angus. It was like I think it was Michael who was trying to be mean to Sting during that one speed challenge because Bronte brought them a chant that Sting had used, and Sting was pissed.
I think so. What's the score again?
5-1.
Yeah, it's 5-1. And have they won an island challenge yet? No. The best they've done is a draw.
Stop being too competitive.
I think the best they've done is a draw.
Still gotta be too nice to each other.
Big heads.
Still gotta be nice.
Big heads. Stop it.
That's
Abby.
Abby.
You say Martin. Yeah, Abby.
They do it to us.
I'm
Just defending my team.
Yeah, just defend.
Self-defense, guys. They're looking for trouble. If they want to start it, they're going to get it.
I don't care.
Technically Claw did it, but when Claw did it, only one person did it, which was Shia, and also I thought it was kind of fitting. Like, not fitting. No, I thought it was like it was much more playful. It wasn't to egg them on. It was to make kind of a joke.
Is that a nice surprise? Did you expect it?
Yeah, it's better now because we've got a winning streak, but hopefully they can bring it back and make it more of a challenge.
Oh, you're getting bored of winning?
Yeah.
God.
Still wasn't great. I mean, like Sting went back and they're like, that was kind of mean. And I'm like, oh, but like I read it how Shia wanted it, which was kind of like just a playful thing. But then Sting was just mean, and Janardon especially. He was so mean to Brandon, and for what? And then in one episode, he'd hand him a puzzle piece, and then the next, or I guess in the previous, he would be like, I don't know what he did, but that whole episode, that whole day pissed me off. The second balance, he pissed me off that episode for real. And then I felt really bad because in the final challenge, he did the worst. And I was like, this isn't Janardon. What happened to Janardon? He should have been one of the best. Like, he always acted like the best because he was. And then he did really poorly. And I was like, is he okay? Like, I genuinely want to know why he struggled so much in the final challenge. I mean, like, I'm not shocked Sting got such a not great edit. And then, like, I even wrote down this would be great to Edgic. I don't know why I wrote that. And for those who don't know, Edgic is essentially deconstructing how the show is edited to figure out who wins and other key events. It's used in Survivor, but it's moved on to other shows as the concept has grown. Anyways, this show would be so fun to Edgic. I didn't do it, and now I'm really sad. Season 4 got a lot right, I think. I mean, there's still some kids, like Angus, it wasn't until only episode 20 where I actually knew who the fuck he was.
Angus is Scorpion Man, born on Scorpion Island.
I thought the name Angus was from a player from the previous season, because there's an Angus in season 3, I think. So, like, I genuinely had no idea there was an Angus this season for most of it. And then, like, episode 20 was his only big one. I felt so bad for him. It's mostly him. But even then, I don't remember a lot of it. Like, Harriet, Shia, Bronte, Brandon, Janardon were, like, the big ones. Because these two are friends. and then they were split up, and then Brandon and Janardon were like huge rivals. And then Abby was big because he was the best. And then Harriet was good because she was the smallest and youngest, but she represented strength, and she dominated as strength. She ate. And then I liked Rachel. She didn't do much, but I liked her. So, and then yeah, no one else stuck out too much, I think. Oh well. It's fine. Yeah. So season 4 did a lot well. The hosts flowed. They had better chemistry together, and with the kids, they were much more involved. They were much more interesting, and just in general, I liked them a lot more, and their energy and their interaction way more than Jake Angel. And I feel bad because I feel like they were bad hosts, but they were just miles better, Mylene and Johnny. Yeah, season 4 absolutely is worth it, I think, to watch. It's great, I think. And then, like, the underdogs kind of win. I mean, they were dominating totem challenges, but they were not good at sand challenges, which were built up to be bigger. And just in general, like, you didn't think they were going to win. And then they did. And it was really nice. I really liked that. And yeah, so I'll give that to them. I thought, oh, one other thing I want to talk about is this really cute moment where they get balloons because the challenge is related to balloons or whatever. And Team's Claw, this isn't environmentally friendly, but oh well. Team Claw, they take a balloon and they're like, if it makes it past the trees, it's an offering to the island. And if it makes it past the trees, they accept it and they let us go. And it was so cute. And then when past, they're like, girls, we're gonna win. And they went, that really warmed me. That was so cute. I love that moment.
In Ireland first, and if it got away from the trees and not getting caught, that means that we succeeded.
1, 2, 3.
To an escape from Scorpion Island first!
The thief got stuck in a tree. Bye. No.
It got away! It got away! It escaped from Scorpion Island!
Woo!
That's what we're gonna do first.
I definitely think that the island's heard our wish because it went up out the trees and it's gonna escape from Scorpion Island, the balloon itself. So hope the island hears our wish.
Like, and that was when I was like, oh, Claw's winning. That's such a cute moment to add. Claw's winning. Ooh. Hey! So, when I finished recording my episode, my video, I guess, I recorded it on Friday. Today is Wednesday, and I finally was about to finish editing. Then I got to the last part, and it turns out the last 10 minutes, there's a problem with the audio. So now I have to re-record it, but I don't I don't have the capabilities to record it in my room right now. Instead, I'm in the bonus room. Anyway, so I'm just gonna, redo it, I guess. I don't know I don't know. So anyways, I even brought, not the same pen, but I have my book. So, the first question I had when watching the show and when, like, thinking about it, is it scripted? I don't think so. From what I can tell, I mean, just in general, I kind of go back and forth, but I don't think it is. Like, I think it's sort of, it's like Big Brother. Oh no, I like making references, and people probably don't understand. Big Brother isn't a scripted show, in theory, but the confessionals, sometimes, I can hear my dog barking, sometimes the confessionals are scripted by production to make someone sound more interesting than they actually are. So I don't think the show's scripted. I think, if it was, I mean, I guess the kids are pretty good actors. but the season 2 especially, I feel like if it was scripted, they definitely could have done it better. Um, but yeah, because I found a YouTube channel from a season 1 contestant, James Holder, and that's the name of the YouTube channel. And he's put out a couple videos about Escape from Scorpion Island, and at least from the sound of it, wasn't scripted unless they're going all out on some weird lie. Like, okay, that'd be a choice. So, and then yeah, the later seasons, I think are just yeah, fine. They're not. I don't think they're scripted. The next question I had is this legal? Like, I'm being so serious. Like, you just threw a bunch of kids on an island and their parents weren't allowed to be there. And you're like, this is banger. Like, I know that, like, no parents or guardians are near, which just, I'm pretty sure that's by, because I don't know, obviously, British and Australian laws, but endurance, the kids had to have their parents on set, I believe. And in most shows, also, the first season was recorded 2007. So I can't speak to the laws. And then the last seasons were recorded in 2010. Yeah, April 20. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. We're sticking with that. It might have been 2011. I think it was 2010. Anyways, so I can't speak to legality, but I'm gonna be honest, guys. This does not. Plus, multiple kids got injured. Like in season 1, apparently someone got injured. In season 2, Livy did. I'm trying to think. No one got, not permanently. But there was a time where not Rachel, it was Bronte who couldn't compete in the challenge, but that was just a sore arm or something. But it's like you would think after the first 2 times they'd maybe stop, but they didn't. Maybe they just put together like better regulations and like better whatever protections and stuff, but still, like, and people are just like, yeah, we'll let the show go through. Okay, okay. As a show, I think it's very much of its time, if you will. I don't think it could be recreated today. I guess to the same extent. No, actually, I could very easily see someone trying to reboot it and then it flopping after one season. So, but I definitely think it's more clearly a product of its time, of this growth of reality TV. I mean, especially like with competitions. So I think this is sort of when people were just kind of trying everything in competitions, or trying everything that was semi normal, I guess. Come to now where it's like just so get me on MILF Manor next. Like I think you get what I mean. Like nowadays reality TV is just utterly insane. Back then at least it had some, mind you, multiple shows through kids on islands. But no buts, actually, that's just horrific. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Anyways, this show was fine. If you're gonna watch it, I'd suggest watching seasons 4 and 5. Hosts are better edited, and I can't really speak to season 5, but just in general, I liked it a lot more. It balanced everything out, and I feel like season 5 is probably the same. Yeah, overall, this show didn't really have an impact on legacy of reality TV. Probably why it's not talked about at all inside. But still, it had an impact on me. maybe like 10 other kids in the world, so it's worth talking about, worth getting to just, I don't know, re-experience something, especially as I'm moving on to other things in life. Because like I graduated high school like a month ago, so it's like, wow, visiting things from my childhood. So it's quite nice to see and realize just how bad of a taste I had when I was a child. Kidding, just kidding. Again, I think season 5 is probably good, and I'm also tempted to watch it. I might do, but we'll see. And that's all from me, or I guess from me about the show. Thank you for watching. I don't know why you watched all the way to the end. I don't think I did a very good job in this video. I was like, oh, it's gonna be so banger. No. Oh my god, I keep playing with that. But if you did make it all the way to the end, maybe you should watch some of my other videos. Maybe you should like and subscribe. I don't know. That's a suggestion, personally. And I'm the best person in the world, so I think you should listen to me. That's all from me. Au revoir. Actually, anyway, bye.